So let's talk selections for England versus South Africa, and welcome to this video supported by Sports News Blitz. Okay, let's get into this England team. There's been some reactions from Steve Borthwick to the loss versus Australia, some interesting changes. At the moment, I'm a little bit flat, but please do pick me up if you think this is the England team to beat South Africa. I think South Africa are definitely favourites. In the front row, no surprise to see Genge, George and Stewart go again. I think Genge and Stewart have scrummaged very well. I need Genge to have a clean match. If he can do that, he can have a great impact. Jamie George has been technically okay, but I think he needs to have more of an impact in that carrying role. We've got to have your hooker carrying a bit more, which is something we see from hookers from other teams. So a bit of a question mark there. And also on the bench, is Theo Dan injured? If Theo Dan isn't injured, I really don't understand Cowan Dickey coming off the bench. I think Theo Dan has much more of an impact. So let me know what you think of that one. Itoje and Martin were always going to carry on in the second row with Ezekwe supporting off the bench. And then the question mark in the back row was who was going to take over from Tom Curry. Well, Tom Curry is a tackling machine. Who else is a tackling machine? Well, Sam Underhill, so is a logical replacement, and maybe Sam Underhill will get some more destructive tackles, some dominant tackles, which is what we're going to need to stop those big South African players, particularly the forwards. Bernal carrying on at 8, needs to have a big game. He and Cunningham South are going to need to make big yards, our go-to ball carriers. And then a massive call at 9, Jack Van Poortvliet in to start, Ben Spencer gone completely. Maybe a little harsh on Spencer. He didn't have the best game against Australia, but his pass is very good, his kick is very high, he's got the skills, he's got the physicality. It just hasn't happened for him in an England shirt, so it's a shame, but I understand why they had to make a change. Randall, clearly they don't see him as a starter. He hasn't got as big a kick. He's maybe not the best controller, but for a fast-paced game, he's the man, but many people thinking maybe he's not quite up to it at this level. Jack Van Poortvliet had a start under Eddie Jones, had a few games, didn't quite happen, then he got injured. He's probably better placed to reignite his England career now. He's a bit more experienced. He's got a good balance between the physical, the skills, a good kick, and he can break. So it's all there for him. He just needs to put it on the pitch. So I do hope he goes well, but it is a bit of a roll of the dice. Then Marcus Smith retains at 10, unsurprisingly. He created a lot in the last match against Australia, but is he going to be replaced by George Ford even if things are going well? And yes, sticking with George Ford, is that something to do with these central contracts, these hybrid contracts, or is it that he just thinks he's the man and Finn Smith not good enough yet? It does seem to be a strange one. 2 poor games in a row for Ford. So again, a little bit disappointed we hadn't changed up to Finn Smith, but sticking with the guys he knows. Slade and Lawrence were never going to change. Let's see if they can gel. Let's see if this whole back line can make some really good defensive reads. I wonder if they're going to change the system a bit and give a bit more leeway to players making decisions, not rushing all the time. Because players like Slightholme, Furbank had made some poor reads in the past, and indeed Furbank gets the chop. His USB is counter-attacking, is that creative game, and it hasn't happened for him in the last 2 games, so I can see why they've made a change. Stewart is going to be unbelievable in the air with this new interpretation where you have to let the chaser chase the ball. So in attack, Stewart is going to be used as a weapon alongside Freeman, so some big aerial threat, and Roebuck on the bench. I would not be surprised if we see a big aerial bomb game with those two in attack, trying to get the ball back even in really good positions where normally you would run. It would be strange not to do that with the lineup they have. Of course, Slightholme's got a lot of pace on him, but he's going to need to beat a lot of defenders to replace what Emmanuel Faye-Wabusu can do. So big game for him. Can they step up, especially defensively? Are we going to see a lot of kicking? I think probably we will. Let me know what you think of this team in the comments down below. So let's talk about the South African team to take on England. Now we've got a lot of changes, mainly because it was a 6-day turnaround and Rassie Erasmus said that's what he was going to do. But also because these are the main starters anyway starting, and I think maybe a hint towards how they might play against England. I think it might surprise us. I think they might play a bit more of a running, offloading game, because we've seen that work really well with Australia doing it against England's rush defence. And also some of the changes they've made. Grant Williams starting at 9. He's a running 9. Libbok's a running 10. So I think we could see a lot of offloading, and from the likes of RG Snyman, a rare start. What's not rare is a start for Oxenche and Bongi and Benambi, but we do have a late call-up to the squad, Wilco Low. Many of you guys said he should have been in the squad anyway, but just shows how strong they are in their scrummaging stakes at tight head prop, and they're leaving the normal bomb squad together, Marks, Steenekamp and Koch. But yeah, Eben Etzebeth partnering RG Sneijman, which is a rare sight, a very scary sight, and a player who would start probably for everyone else. But yeah, I do expect him to go for his big one-handed offloads over the top of England's blitz defence, and just a scary, scary prospect. And then Khaleesi, Pieter-Steph Toy as normal Visa. That is the first choice back row, no doubt. Now the back line is kind of as expected, although I wondered if they would start Hendrikse again. I know he only played 6 days ago, but he is the man who kicks when Libbok is there. So who kicks? I think that's the big question. Is it Colby? Is it Libbok himself? I mean, Pollard will kick when he comes on, I'm sure, but that is going to be a question. We'll see if it's something that bites them, but they're going for Libbok with Grant Williams, which is so quick, their quickest option. So exciting to see them launch this back line, especially that back three, which could be the quickest back three in the world at the moment, with Arenza, Colby and Fassi retaining his 15 slot. So really, really exciting. I think they're going to play pretty fast, fairly loose to start with, to see if they can pick off England. Let me know what you think about that one. On the bench, Elric Lowe, I think, is covering the back row, not the second row, because I think Pieter-Steph Toy will step up. So it is 2 back rowers on the bench. Quagga Smith getting a rare start last week, and now he's in his more impact role. So it's a 5-3 this time. I think that 7-1 was more because they were trying to rotate lots of players for this 6-day turnaround, more than an actual tactic. Anyway, 3 backs on the bench. Pollard will come on and maybe kick the clutch goal as he normally does. Kanyuam, he's there to kind of cover 12 and 13 because he's played 12 a lot now. It looks like Creel and Grant Williams covers the wing. Colby probably covering 15. So lots of cover in the backs. Let me know what you think of that team, all the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.